Now, we are convened here for one crucial reason, to discuss the questions that affects the future of our nation, a question that sits at the intersection of our greatest demographic, the youth, and the largest economic sector. Now, Kenya stands at a pivotal moment. On one hand, we are a nation brimming with youthful energy, with well over 75% of our population under the age of 35. On the other hand, we face the stark reality that a vast number of the youth are searching for employment, with youth employment basically remaining a profound challenge. Yet within this challenge lies a seed of immense opportunity. For generations, agriculture has been the backbone of our economy, but now it is being reinvented, rethought. It is no longer about the soil and the whole, but rather it is about sensors, satellites, startups. It is about e-commerce, value addition, and basically green energy. Now, this radical metamorphosis has a name, hence Agri-Innovation. Now, and so the debate today is not just a topic for discussion, it is a vision for the future of this nation. And so the motion before this honorable house, Agri-Innovation is the future of youth employment, in Kenya. Now, to unpack this critical issue, we now call upon our debaters, arguing for the motion in firm belief that Agri-Innovation holds the key to opulence and opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, I now call upon the Prime Minister, Kisii University. Round of applause kindly.
The moment is finally here. My name is Kisii University, and I would like to be timed in 1, 2, and 3. Well, my dear comrades, my fellow debaters, this is an opportunity for us to expose our minds to the realities of the today's world. You know, picture a girl by the name Mora here in Kisii. She has done her degree, of course, completed it, and she settled somewhere at home. And the narrative that is being given to her is that, you know, you have to go maybe to Nairobi or to the bigger cities that we know of so that you can access opportunities. And I would like to say opportunities in quotes, because we are here to support a motion that this house believes that agri-innovation is the future of youth employment in rural Kenya. There is an alternative solution for this girl. There's something that is called hydroponic farming. And agri-innovation itself is an interesting factor. It might sound technical, but I want to expound it to you so that we can all be together. You know, agri-innovation involves not just the traditional farming that we know of, but also, kindly come after I'm done, it comes with a reference to the utilization of artificial intelligence, drones, and solar irrigation. That is what we can always understand, because we have seen it here. And modern processes such as hydroponics and vertical farming. Vertical farming, it's something like you see someone has a pipe, a PVC pipe, and they have crops growing on the sides of them. I believe everyone has ever seen such of a thing. And hydroponics, it's an emerging process and technique of farming where you do not need to use any kind of water, any kind of soiling. You just need to strategically use water and nutrients to grow your crops. Agri-innovation also includes fresh business models, such as improvement in the value addition and having exports and agri-tourism. Value addition is all about converting agri-products into better products that can be of beneficial to us. Here in Kisii, it's obvious that bananas are the main cropping for the people of Kisii. Yeah, that's true. But yes, through value addition, that banana has been used to even generate other kind of products. Interestingly, for our ladies, the kind of braids that you have. Here in Kisii, we have people that are wearing braids made of bananas. That is an interesting thing that I would like to bring to you. And this is the future that we are trying to point for you.
Point of information.
Yeah.
Now you're educating the youth about hydroponics. Remember, the motion is youth employment. Hydroponics. What jobs is hydroponics creating? Surely hydroponics is vertical farming. We're talking about youth employment.
Well, if you are listening carefully, I was defining the terms, and I believe I did define them as clearly as it should be. And now moving forward, the future of this, we are talking of a scalable future for all of us, a sustainable one and a dignified one for us. And the rural Kenya that we are talking of, it's none other than the places that we come from. Kisii, talk of Meru, talk of Turkana, talk of every home place that we all come from. I mean, this motion that we have here is very critical, because even the talks that we have been having today, they have been here to show us that up to 75% of all of us here, or even to simplify the terms for us, counting 1, 2, and 3, up to 10 youths in rural Kenya. Out of all those people, majority of them are jobless. And in all of that, 4 out of those 10 people have been employed or have access to opportunities in the agriculture sector. So the question that I'm going to be answering here is whether the innovations that Mr. Opposition is trying to show that I'm not yet addressing, it's to check on whether innovation is the sector that can transform this unemployment challenge into an opportunity for us in the agriculture sector. And I want to mention that green opportunities are the jobs and the jobs for us. And young people may not always welcome this idea, but you know, agricultural sector offers employment to us in a lot of ways that we may not always embrace, but it's part of us. Think of people such as us. We want to embrace technology. We want to embrace ICT. We want to embrace technology at large. And that is what Agri-Innovation is all about, innovating and changing the traditional ways of doing agriculture to better ourselves, even in the near future. No one is saying that we should bury our feet in the soils and plant ourselves in those soils the entire of our lives just because it's agriculture. Agri-Innovation, it's all about being... Thank you so much.
Strict and adhering to time. Thank you for that. Be that as it may, bananas, braids made out of bananas. I would like to welcome the leader of opposition to present their case.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sebastian Inziani. I am the leader of opposition. Our position as the opposition is to affirm that agriculture is not the way to go. So which is the way to go? Ladies and gentlemen, be our guests. My good friend, the Honorable Prime Minister, has presented a case that sounds seductively optimistic, but deep down it bears an impression of false hope. Take a picture of this scenario, honorable members. You have a tiny micro village in the interiormost rural parts of Kenya that depends on agriculture wholly as the only economic activity for the sustainability of its people. Then out of nowhere, it is befell by a natural disaster called climate change. What about this thing called climate change? Honorable members, Kenya has a total landmass of 582,646 kilometers square, out of which 20% only of this total landmass is considered suitable for agriculture. This is not a statement from heaven. This is a statement that was done It is a research that was done by the Intergovernmental Authority on Development that was presented as early as yesterday, last night. Why are we saying agriculture is not the way? As the agricultural sector continues to shudder and dim the dreams of millions of Kenyans, there are different sectors of the economy that have continuously boomed and have created employment opportunities. Take, for instance, an example of the ICT sector. The ICT sector, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, created over 780,000 employment opportunities in the year ended 2024. So why don't we abandon agriculture and adopt these sectors that continuously help in creating employment opportunities? It should be noted that the 782,000 employment opportunities that were created led to a 7.8% growth in the economy that attracted to over 64 billion shillings in foreign investments. Ladies and gentlemen, agriculture is not the way to go. The future does not lie on agriculture. The future lies on manufacturing. The future lies in hospitality. The future lies in ICT. Ladies and gentlemen, take a scenario whereby you have a graduate from the university who has graduated recently, has gone to a financial institution, has borrowed loan, has started agri-business in the name of, let's say, for example, poultry farming. Then, all of a sudden, Kenya being the largest consumer of imported eggs from countries such as Uganda, the market suddenly gets flooded with imports from Uganda. There is a sudden increase in inflation. Then, out of nowhere, the price of feeds increase. This does not only kill the business of this young youth, but also shatters away the dreams of many other youth. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2008 to 2018, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change suggested that, or in its research, provided that over 108 billion shillings are spent by the developing countries, Kenya being one of them, in managing disasters of climate change. We therefore affirm as the opposition that a good example of the 19th century that saw the improvement in industrial sectors in countries like Europe, which saw a negative impact in the major population, in the aspect of the larger part of the population, being affected by the problem of unemployment, whereby manufacturers saw it fit to adopt machines to replace them with human labor. This led to a high rate of unemployment. The opposition adopts the position that agriculture, as I had stated earlier, it is not the future. The future lies in ICT, the future lies in hospitality, the future lies in manufacturing sectors. That having been said, as the opposition, we submit and raise our case.
Future lies in hospitality, manufacturing industries, and the rest. Don't know why you were raising your hand. Thought you were preaching. I would now like to invite the Deputy Prime Minister to affirm the Prime Minister's case.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House, good afternoon to you. I trust you are well. My name is Shali Nafula, the Deputy Prime Minister. My timekeeper, my time starts now. The wearer of the shoe knows where it hurts most. Unemployment is not just a far-fetched concept for us, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually living and experiencing it. We're talking about the youth in rural Kenya, but who are the youth in rural Kenya? You will say we come to the universities, to TVETs, to colleges to get our degrees. And when we get our degrees, we say we left home to change home. Now that we're going back home, where is home? Home is in the rural Kenya. Home is in Muranga, home is in Homa Bay, home is in Nyandarua, home is in West Pokot, home is Bungoma. These are the rural areas, ladies and gentlemen. And as the Deputy Prime Minister and the proposition in this case, I want to build on the case that my Prime Minister has already established, that agri-innovation is indeed the future of us as youth. The leader of opposition came in to tell us that agriculture is not the way to go. And to an extent, I agree with him. But ladies and gentlemen, agri-innovation, we are changing the norms. We are demolishing the systems that no longer serve us. And we're building new systems through innovation, through the creations of our minds to help us transform us in various sectors. We have established that we are the people, we are the audience because we are from rural Kenya. Now we are in university. The Kisii University offers 8 courses. We are not going back home to lay these degrees under our suitcases because we have no future. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever course, whatever school you are in, you have a chance in agri-innovation. For example, let us start with the lawyers. Talk about the contracts in businesses. Talk about the lease agreements. Who drafts this? The lawyers. The School of Education, we have the teachers. They are developing the curricula. They are imparting knowledge to our communities. That is exactly how you are beneficial. You are creating employment for yourself in agri-innovation. You are not waiting for someone else to come and tell you that in 5 years' time, or give me your certificates, I'll give you work, or I'll do this and this. The School of Pure and Applied Sciences. Let us talk about the actuaries. What do? They identify risks in businesses and they provide measures to manage these risks or to mitigate these risks. They also provide insurances for our businesses in case of acts of God or something happens to our businesses in agri-business that we have agri-innovated. Ladies and gentlemen, I could go on and on about the 8 schools, but this is just to let you know that you have a place in agri-innovation. The opposition may come and tell you that we need to go to industrialization. But let's be clear here, are we engineers? Are all of us engineers? Because we know that is an area that majorly or highly requires engineers and these people. But in agri-innovation, everyone has a space. You have a chance, ladies and gentlemen. Now that we are on board with that, let us go to the pressing issues. How many times have you eaten ugali mayai this week? Ugali mayai, mayai ugali, condensed porridge and omelette, omelette and condensed porridge. That is the way to go, right? There is also a commercial running on Citizen TV by Food Fiti, encouraging the people to eat vegetables because we have adopted a culture where we do not eat vegetables. And one of the reasons is that because we do not understand. And that is exactly why I'm here. Even the Holy Book says, my people perish due to lack of knowledge. But then we are here today with the Green Caravan to gain knowledge on this. Now that we have identified that there is a problem in Kenya, we as innovators come in with better food, with better methods of farming to actually help alleviate these problems. As agri-innovators, by what my Prime Minister said, we have hydroponics. You do not need land to grow food. But also, the opposition may come in and say, most of you do not have land. But let's be clear, we are Africans, right? We inherit land, right? So most of us here, I'm sure, are assured of land because we pass it down from generations to generations. Is it so? It is so. Now that we have established that land is not an issue, and even if it were an issue, we have the sub-chiefs, we have the chiefs, we have the
information.
Please go ahead, 10 minutes, 10 seconds.
Now you're talking about inheritance. You know, you will be waiting for your dad to die. What if your dad dies at 90? Where are you getting the land?
Ladies and gentlemen, succession does not happen just when someone dies. We actually know that that is not how it works. The father divides land among his sons and daughters equally. We do not need to wait for them to die. Ladies and gentlemen, to go on, now that we have established that you have a problem, that is exactly why we need you. I need you as an agri-innovator to join the Green Caravan. It is here making way like Moana, and Kisii University are builders. We are builders, we are innovators, we think above and beyond. We have seen the power of coming together as the youth to transform the nation, to transform. Now that we are here, we are not just talking about this commercial, this subsistence farming. We are talking about growing cash crops and mushrooms for sale in big hotels and even for export. The leader of opposition mentioned shortage mentioned mayai imports. Why is that? Because we have a shortage in Kenya. But how about we agri-innovate? We bring in innovation to help with the production of eggs and poultry so that we do not have shortages. And why is that? Because you will be there. You will be there to create change. Ladies and gentlemen, I beseech you, the Green Caravan is here. Hop on. Let's join the caravan. It has made way. Kisii University, the university of the 21st century. We are builders. And whatever breakage or whatever cracks the opposition may try to paint, we have a solution. So do not buy that, because in agri-innovation, we create changes and we innovate. Thank you.
Such great incentives from the Deputy Prime Minister. Thank you so much. At this particular point in time, I'd like to invite the Deputy Opposition Leader to present their case.
The King of Salem, Melchizedek, tells Santiago that when you want something, the whole universe conspires to help you get it. Now, to our young people present in the house, when you want something greater than agriculture, the whole world is going to conspire in helping you achieve it. I'm here to tell you, as the deputy leader of opposition, you've got great dreams. Be Santiago. Follow your personal legends. Don't go by what the government proposes to you. The government has spoken about land. Now, I'll give you an example. Currently, Maelo Benta is mourning an uncle. Last week on Friday, in the evening, my uncle was slain. He went to hospital. He was put in the ICU. On Saturday morning, at 5:15 a.m., the news reached us. Uncle David is gone. The reason for his death, he was slain because of land. The Deputy Prime Minister has told us that actually the land is subdivided even before someone dies. Yes, my grandfather is not dead, but my uncle is dead. What is the point there? The government wants you to go into a risky venture, a venture in agri-innovation that is going to take away the life of our young people. That is so sad. As the opposition, we are here to save our young people. And I'll begin by rebutting the points presented to us by the opening government. Number 2, I'll present the points for the opposition. Number 3, I'll give you the alternatives and I'll conclude. Number 1, the government has spoken issues here but has abandoned the issue of capital. Now, look at this example. If today I wanted to begin a farm, be it maybe using agriculture, yes, a new innovative agricultural method, if I don't have capital, that dream is dead on arrival. Number 2, they've spoken about, I'll pick it later. Okay. Now, we also speak about the issue of market. In as much as we say agri-innovation is going to look at innovation, is going to embrace technology, is going to accommodate all these changes and new things. There is a difference between production and having what you've produced being consumed. Are you sure that if all our young people venture into farming, venture into agri-innovation, will our market be able to absorb all their products? It's not possible. Do we want to produce these crops? We want to give out good products, but unfortunately, let our young people be exploited in the market? No, we go against it. Yes?
Your current point just has a unique point that all the food that you produce is for primary consumption, not about the exports. Have you completely disregarded that? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let us look at the exports. Now, that is where exploitation happens. You can't tell me that a youth in the rural village of Wamunyiri in Bungoma County is going to connect properly to an international market and without brokers, without cartels, and be sure that whatever he or she has produced will reach the market with the value he had in mind. That is actually impractical. I can't pick 2 points of information from the same opening government. Thank you. On to my submission now as the deputy leader of opposition. It is said it is the nature of reptiles to bite, but it should be the nature of human beings to fight for rights. It is the nature of the government to exploit its citizens, but it is the nature of the opposition to always stand for the rights of the citizens. Now, I'm going to present number one, why agri-innovation cannot be the future of youth employment in rural Kenya. Number one, we are going to look at infrastructural challenges. I've got a friend, she's called Nelima. Nelima managed to acquire a solar-powered pump for drip irrigation. Now, while she used the pump for around 2 months, the pump broke down. But now the technician is 150 kilometers away from where she is, plus the roads are impassable. In Uganda, they say that potholes are not on the road. It is the roads that are on the potholes. And the same applies to us. Now, it was very tough for her to... It was very tough for her It was very tough for her to get the technician. Now, by reaching the technician, that is after 1 month, the spare parts for that item, for that machinery, had to be ordered from Nairobi. It took another month. Now, we are looking at the infrastructural challenges. The structures here. Agri-innovation has its base on infrastructure. You can't have agri-innovation in a place with no electricity, no proper roads, no proper storage amenities. That gym cannot work. Now, on that note, statistically speaking, 40% of households in Kenya have access to electricity. What about the remaining 60%? Where are these people going? So if you're going to focus on agriculture, agri-innovation, this is to mean 60% of households are going to be left out. And in social justice, we speak about equity and equality. If today I ask the government if agri-innovation is going to promote equity or equality, it will promote equality, but it won't promote equity because they don't know what equity is. I'll tell you at the end. My second point goes to technological gaps. When we speak about the technological gaps, if we do not have internet, it's not about having a smartphone. It is about the whole ecosystem. It is about having fast, accessible, and affordable internet. Not all villages have this, and we all can affirm that. When we went home for the holidays, some of us could not get online because we are in the rural village. The same way, someone says we want the government to maybe train our young people. By the time the government of Kenya trains 1,000 young people into doing things about as innovation, it's that technology, that package that they that package that they may want to use will have gone obsolete. Will agri-innovation be the future of youth employment in rural Kenya? No. Why do I want to cry? Because the government is trying to lie to us. I feel emotional. Now, I'll go to the 3-1, that is the changing aspirations in the young people. Each of us wants something different. Historically speaking, we are going to speak about something different. Thank you.
The debate is now starting to look like a debate, is it not? At this particular point in time, I'd like to call the member of government to add flesh to the already made body.
Hello, everyone. My name is Linda Amojong, a second-year law student. I'll start by posing a question to you. How many factories do you have in your village? Well, how many farms do you have in a village? What for that? We are here to discuss the most pressing issue of our generation, the future of over 1 million Kenyan youths who enter the job markets every year searching for opportunities. Well, my opponents may offer to you tired ideas of the past, but I stand before you with a vision rooted not in hope, but in reality. A vision where our youth are not just job seekers, but job creators, where they're not architects in their already struggling economy, but where they're not participants in the already struggling economy, but architects of a new one. I stand before you to affirm with conviction that agri-innovation is the future of youth employment in Kenya. And let us be clear on our terms. Agri-innovation isn't just a fancy word for farming. It is the application of new technologies, smart business models, and creative thinking to every single link in the agricultural chain, from the soil to the shelf, from the seed to the international markets. This future is not one of mere subsistence. It is a future of opulence, of significant generational wealth. This future is not a distant dream. The evidence is clear. The enabling environment is not a dream to come. It is here with us, waiting for us to seize it. Well, my points rests on two pillars. The first pillar being that agri-innovation is the most direct path to opulence. Why do I say this? Innovation multiplies value. Well, the traditional agriculture has a very low income ceiling, but agri-innovation smashes that ceiling. Think of Liz Kerubo. She didn't just sell raw honey, she innovated. She processed it, branded it as a killer, and now captures the value, the profits that comes with value addition. She moved from the low margin farm gates to the high margin supermarket shelves. That is opulence. Think of a young tech graduate. They don't need jembes. They can operate drone systems, surveying thousands of acres of land for farmers, analyzing crop health with data analytics. This is a high value, high income career that didn't exist 5 years ago. That is opulence. Well, agri-innovation breaks the boom and bust cycle. Through climate-smart tech like drip irrigation and greenhouses, it turns, and through value addition, that turns perishable mangoes into shelf-stable juice. Agri-innovation captures year-round income. The financial stability is the foundation of opulence. This is the shift from being a laborer to being a CEO, from earning a wage to building equity. This is what the future of employment must look like. The second pillar is that the enabling environment is already here. This is the most compelling part of our argument. We're not waiting for this infrastructure to be built. The success for this infrastructure is already here. First, the policy foundation is laid. Our national blueprint, Vision 2030, explicitly prioritizes agricultural modernization and youth employment. Concrete programs like KYOP and Nyota are not just ideas on paper. They are funded, they are active, and they are proven. KYOP alone has helped launch 86,000 youth-owned businesses. The government's AGPO programs even sets aside procurement opportunities specifically for youth-led enterprises. The political will is already here. Second, the financial mechanisms are in place. The biggest hurdle has always been capital. That excuse is gone. KYLP offers direct grants and business training. Village savings and loans associations allow youth to pull resources together and invest in each other's businesses. When we look at this, the landscape is moving beyond traditional loans that require collateral our youth simply don't have. Third, and most crucial, the technology is in our hands. Kenya is a global leader in mobile money and connectivity. With over 80% mobile penetration, the tool for revolution is already in the hand of every young Kenyan. This connectivity allows for e-commerce platforms, mobile banking, access to real-time market prices, and digital supply chains. We don't need to build this infrastructure. It is already here. Now, my opponents will offer to you ideas from the past. They'll say that the youth don't like to farm, but that is because you are thinking of the past. Show them the drones, show them the tech, show them the profits, and they'll not only want it, they'll excel at it. They'll say that we don't have farms, but agri-innovation doesn't need 100 acres of land. Look at a hydroponic unit on a balcony in Kibera. It can grow high-value vegetables. A mobile processing unit can serve an entire community without owning a single farm. The barriers are perceptions, not realities. And the time for that future is now. The policies are active, the funding is available, and the technology is in our hands. The enabling environment is not a promise to come. It is a present-day reality. The question before us is not if this is the future, it is if we have the courage to embrace it. Let us empower our youth to be the agripreneurs, to be the CEOs, to be the tech founders of tomorrow. Let us vote for a future of opulence. Let us vote for the motion. Thank you.
Thank you for the great incentives. I would now like to call the member of opposition. The stage is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have had the grand submissions from the proposition. And I particularly was struck by the opening statement from the government whip. And she asks you a very important question for which the opposition team is here in the room. She asks, how many factories have you in your village? And the answer is 0, isn't it? And that is why we are here as the youth, because we want to tell you that we need to focus on industrialization. We have tried to assess the countries that are wealthiest. Look at South Africa, for example. Let us have a look at the international arena. We have the USA, we have China. Have you heard any of them focusing on agriculture? Leave alone the sugar coating called Agri-Innovation, but is any of them focusing in agriculture? That is no. They are focusing on industrialization, and that is why the team opposition is here, to make it clear to you that what can make you grow as a country, what can make our youth be absorbed is actually industrialization and not agri-innovation. She also talks about opulence, gives us an example of Kerubo, who is earning 2 million, but have you seen her pay slips? Have you seen that is actually what she has? Let me ask you a good question. In Kenya, have we not had such narratives? We are being told of, there's a woman we were told who borrowed hustler fund of 500 shilling, and we're told that as it now she invests and she's earning 5 million. Have we not had such narratives, which are actually lies? So ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to dismiss her submissions in their entirety. Now, let me ask you a good question. Have you ever had one problematic and desperate ex? This is that ex whom, because you want to leave, you decide to cheat on them. In trying to uphold their principles, they leave. But after 2 or 1 week, they come back to you and ask you, hey baby, can I apologize to you? And please baby, tell me how best I can love you so that we can continue proceeding with our relationship. So this ex actually forgets that they're the ones who are hurt in this relationship. And that the proposition is actually the current ex. They've been here telling us about agriculture. They've realized it's not working. And now they're coming with another narrative of agri-innovation. Do you think if agriculture did not work from the start, is agri-innovation really going to work? It has not worked, and the sugar coating does not even help. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is clear to you that even the youth are naturally deriving themselves away from agriculture and any sort of related activities that deals with agriculture. Now, good policies, ladies and gentlemen, always work with human preferences and not against them. We have a good example. On June 24th, on June around the first up to the last month, 2024, what did the country Kenya experience? There were very mass protests. Why? Because we were having the Finance Bill 2024 that was against our preferences as the youths. And what was the result? We had mass deaths, and those who did not die who were participating in these protests actually lost very important parts of their bodies for which they were using to earn. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for this second time, it is upon you, the youth, to decide. Do you still want the government to continue giving you policies that don't align with your preferences? Since time immemorial, you've not chosen any activity that relates to agriculture. You want to tell me that now, because it is sugar-coated to agri-innovation, you want to buy the idea? It is not going to work with you, and it is not going to work in your favor. Because as I have illustrated, we have seen countries which agri-innovation have not worked for them. Let me tell you, we have USA, and they have the infrastructure and the incentive. Why do you think they have never thought of focusing on agri-innovation? Because it actually doesn't work. Kenya is a third world country, and we're the ones who want to take this approach. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not going to work for us. It has never worked, and it is also not going to work. The opposition is not just arguing or putting away this whole conversation about agriculture for the sake of it. We want to actually give you a solution, and I have mentioned it before, that industrialization is actually the way to go. If Kenya also focused on this and invested on it, trust me, we will grow, because industries open very wide opportunities to get jobs, from being a lawyer, an advisor, to we have informal jobs. We need the cleaners, we need people who can operate all these machines, and that is why the proposition identified that there are actually no factories in the rural areas, and this is why we need them. Now, let me give you a statistic. According to the Business Daily e-paper, on March 24th, this year, 2025, they say that Kenya actually imports 70% of its medicines from countries like India and China and other developed European countries. Now, I'm sure in this house, about half of us took a medicine or two to balance our health status. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. And actually, the fact that people take medicine occurs across the country and even in African countries. So imagine if Kenya became a pharmaceutical industries such that we would attract nations from Africa to get this product, to import them from Kenya. How far do you think our GDP will grow? Have you ever thought about that? But I put it to you today that if we focus on industrialization, particularly pharmaceutical industries, then ladies and gentlemen, Kenya will have absorbed so many youth. You don't have to think about the skill expertise. There are so many opportunities you can work with. I am a lawyer. I need to be a legal advisor in a company. Ladies and gentlemen, industrialization is actually the way. Dismiss this whole narrative of agri-innovation. It is not going to work for us. Think again of textile industry. We have Athi River. We have Athi River that has limestone, which is cement. Ladies and gentlemen, if you focus on these construction products, then we are going to develop as a country. Let's embrace industrialization and dismiss agri-innovation in its entirety. Thank you very much.
Be that as it may, I'd like now to call the government whip to add flesh to their case.
Honorable esteemed members of the House, I go by the name Asaya Lydia. And today as the government whip, I am here to refute, I am here to rebuild, and I'm here to convince you that agri-innovation is the future of rural youth's employment. The question at hand is not about now. We are talking about our 2033. We are talking about our future, and especially the youths, and mainly rural areas. We are not talking about the towns. We are not talking about the cities, the opposition. You are talking about 0 factories in rural areas, and you have actually confirmed that. So, you claiming that industrialization is the future, yet we have 0 industries. How is it possible? We are not that, we can't be manipulated in that way. Yes? We don't have the factories, you agree, but bringing it, how much does it cost as compared to agri-innovation, whereby declined, whereby we already have our lands in our rural areas? I decline the other point. I decline, I'm sorry. We are talking about agri-innovation, where we already have the main substance, which is our land. We already have the lands, and it's just about getting away and getting rid of the informed decision that the society has made us to believe that agriculture is unattractive. That is basically why agri-innovation is here, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to bring agri-innovation so that it can attract the youth, because I, as a strong believer of Kuomoka by all chances, as long as it is legal, I do not run away from agriculture. I am running away from poverty. So you claiming that the youth are migrating because agriculture is not good for them, that is a lie. We are migrating because we want to change home. We want to create a better future for our home. The opposition also claims that rural youth cannot engage in agri-innovation due to inadequate land. Time immemorial, stories of people being killed because of land has been there, and that was the traditional farming. And our able member of opposition, that's why we are here. That's why agri-innovation is here. That's why GCC is here. I decline. That's why GCC is here. We need to rethink this issue of land, because now, in agri-innovation, we are not talking about growing wider. That's what they are talking about. But we are talking about growing higher, growing smarter, which will increase the level of productivity in our land. Ladies and gentlemen,
Have we considered rooftop farming? Have we heard of the flying garden, whereby we do not need land per acres, but we need land per square meter? This is how agri-innovation is going to help us improve. We actually are in need of agriculture in our rural areas. We cannot talk about issues that are only going to favor people in the cities, because as per now, only Mombasa and the major cities, Nairobi, they are good at industrialization. We agree. But we are here to offer good employment to the rural youths. And we are not talking about only farming, ladies and gentlemen. Agri-innovation brings about other forms of employment. For instance, agriculture extension officers. That's a job. If you are interested to work in an office, you can specialize in that. We are interested to people who love delivery, where we can deliver goods to our markets. That's what agri-innovation is bringing about. Agroforestry is another issue. We don't need much land in agri-innovation. We can practice agroforestry, whereby we are going to plant trees, crops at the same land, and even invest in livestock in the same land, which will actually, we do not need much land in agri-innovation. That is a very outdated way of thinking. About infrastructure, the issue time immemorial. You have ever talked about pots being on the roads or something of the sort? You know better. But I am here to tell you, statistically, as of 2023, 70% of Kenya's rural population had an access to all-season roads within 2 kilometers of their homes, a significant increase from 56% in 2009. Statistics agree with me. This is strategic progress, ensuring that agricultural zones are reachable. So, as much as we have infrastructural challenges, they are being tackled. And when we are going to adopt agri-innovation, they are going to work head on with infrastructural development whereby, we are having agri-innovation in our rural places. This is going to be an encouragement for even us as the government to come there and see the need of land, transferring plants from the farms to the market. So if you vote agri-innovation, it means you're also voting for infrastructural development. In the 2025-2026 budget, road development and maintenance received over 102 billions, including upgrades to trunk, primary and secondary roads. So this is what I'm going to ask the opposition. If 70% of rural communities now have all-season roads access, the government continues to even invest billions in strategic road networks. Can you truly claim that Kenya lacks the infrastructure to support agri-innovation? That is my question, and I take my rest. I humbly submit.
Much as the opposition whip is burning with ideas, I now welcome you to the floor.
Thank you very much. Samuel Baraza is my name. Opposition whip. I'm here to whip them. Now I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Everybody close your eyes. We are talking about youth employment in rural Kenya. So we are talking about creation of jobs. How many jobs have they created? Perhaps 1,000 jobs. We are talking about a whopping 2.5 million youths not having jobs in rural Kenya. They are lying to us. Now, I want us to conduct a very quick audit within this room. Now, look at the CEO here. She's driving a Lexus LX 570. Made in Japan, not in Kenya. Sawa. Look at my suit. If you look at it, it is Roberto Lorenzo, made in Turkey. We want to create these jobs in Kenya, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are surrounded by the evidence of a global truth that the world thrives in manufacturing. I will not take it, please. We are thriving in a world that is manufacturing oriented. Ladies and gentlemen, there is evidence in this room. Now, the motion before this House is not only incorrect, it is a vision of the past. We want to move on. We are not going back to our exes. Now, the opposition comes here and it talks about hydroponics as the solution for youth employment. Now, later, we are talking about youth employment, ladies and gentlemen. Hydroponics is totally controlled by electricity. How many jobs is it creating? 0 or 1 for controlling that machine. And they talked about hydroponics doesn't need land. Now, I'm wondering, are you going to put hydroponics in the air? Because it needs to be above land. Ladies and gentlemen, the land issue recurs. Now, she talked about, the opposition also talks about creation of jobs across careers. And my working lawyer here is not informed that also industrialization creates jobs. Actually more. Why do we study company law in class? Did you attend company law classes? Industries are going to create company law, are going to create companies out here. Lawyers are going to be employed there. We have the Work Injuries Benefits Act. Lawyers are coming here to defend industrial workers in the rural areas. Ladies and gentlemen, industrialization also creates jobs around the network. You are also covered by industrialization. Now, she asks us, how many factories do we have in the rural areas? Now, there are mothers and fathers on land. How many have created jobs for you? Now, they're saying youths are going to Nairobi to look for those industries. Why don't we bring these industries in rural Kenya so that we curb the 277,000 migration rate to the urban centers? We don't have jobs in rural area. Agri-Innovation has been there. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the 2030 vision, Vision 2030. Now, Vision 2030, under the economic pillar, we have Agri-Innovation shouting. It has been 18 years down the line. Ladies and gentlemen, 18 years. You guys don't even know what Agri-Innovation is, right? Thank you very much. Now, she talks about financial stability, and she talks about the fact that we have money to fund youth employment. Now, let me take you through the journey of getting funding for Agri-Innovation. Now, we have organizations, yes, like Apollo Agriculture. We have banks. But you have land. Are you waiting for your grandfather to die for you to get that land so that you have collateral to get that loan? You're not going to get loans to start Agri-Innovation. And industrialization is the way to go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we need 2.5 million jobs. They have created 2001. When it comes to voting, this is the side to vote. This is the side that has the jobs. Let us clap at that. Now, let me tell you why the closing opposition wins. It has provided a solution to Agri-Innovation. A solution that is going to create millions of jobs. A solution that has worked. Let us look at China, for example. 27.7% of Chinese youth are employed in industrialization, and it contributes 27.7% to the GDP. Let us look at agriculture in China, 6.8%, going downwards. Let us look at the United States, for example. In the 19th century, when we marked the transition from agri-innovation to industrialization, it led to a tripling effect in the labor creation. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you want a tripling effect in labor creation? Do you? You do, right? Now, they are saying that it is not practicable. We are having choppers flying from Congo, carrying minerals to the United States. We need to attack these minerals and bring them in Kenya so that we create the Lexus 570 here. So that 34 million comes to our pockets, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Audi Al-Sharam Patem, they have spoken. You and me have listened. That is the principle in law that gives fair hearing. But we have given them enough time to create jobs. They have only created 2001. The opposition is creating millions and millions of jobs. The 2.5 million and above. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood. The opposition took the one less traveled. We are the lone travelers. Ladies and gentlemen, it is finished.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap, an electrifying exchange of ideas. At this particular point in time, I'd like to invite you, honorable members of this House, to pose questions to the debaters, if you have any.
My question goes to the opposing side. For how long are we going to wait for those industries? Meanwhile, what will we be eating? One thing I know, we are eating every day. It's only that we are trying to create value to what we are eating in an innovative way. When we talk of innovation, especially in the agricultural sector, I don't have to be in the urban area. For example, I think they are very elitist. Even when you go to the urban areas, majority of our urban areas are in the slum areas, and they are doing extremely well in the vertical farming that we keep talking and sensitizing you about. Then you're always thinking of land, land, land. Let me tell you, even when it comes to the issue of funding, nowadays financial institutions fund ideas. If you have a good idea and you're able to defend it, you don't have to have physical land for you to be funded. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I respect Madam, she's our lecturer, but I would like to differ here. Now, she has asked for how long. I bet she didn't read the motion. The motion is saying, Agri-Innovation is the future. We are looking at the future, right? Look at how long Silicon Valley took to develop, and go and see the industries there. We are talking about the future, ladies and gentlemen. Now, she said industrialization is expensive. Do you know how much hydroponics cost? To install that hydroponics, do you know how much it costs? Millions and millions of money. Now, let us go to jobs creation, for example, because the motion is about jobs creation. And she's talking about people depending on agriculture in slums to manufacture food. I totally agree with you, madam. But how many jobs is that creating? We want to create jobs for you youths. Now, you guys are not living in the slums. You are living in rural Kenya. We want to bring industries in rural Kenya so that you get jobs. Now, in as much as I have due respect for madam, and I agree with her, kindly, the motion is creation of employment in rural Kenya. Thank you very much.
My name is Odhiambo Moses, an honorable member of this house. I have two questions to pose to the opposers. The first question says, as you talk of the source of employment in the Vision 2030 and going forward, what will be the most dependent resource for these materials that we will be using in the industrialization? Will they not be coming from the Agri-Innovation? The second one, by that time that you are talking of industrialization, what will we be eating if we don't promote the Agri-Innovation? Thank you.
Yeah, please paraphrase your first question, the one that was talking about we need materials from, where are we getting these materials? Was that clear? Did I get it clearly?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now you're talking about raw materials for industrialization, right? Thank you. Now, members of the public, Kenya is a member of the East African community, right? We all believe in integration, right? Now, Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, has recently joined the EAC. Now, if you go to Congo today, we have calamities day in, day out, because they are being fueled by the United States of America. Now, you know what Congo has? It has almost all the minerals in the world. Now, why can't we capitalize on EAC integration so that we go to Congo and we tell them, you guys, you know what? We want to create peace here, and we want to chase the Muzungu away. We want to decolonize the EAC. We want to decolonize Africa. And that way, we are going to get raw materials from Congo, for example. Now, remember also in Kenya, we have, for example, let me remind you, manufacturing, for example, cement manufacturing in Mombasa. We have a lot of materials in Mombasa, and Bamburi is working. Now, let me inform you again. 7.6% of the GDP in Kenya is contributed from manufacturing. Yet, the government has not even invested in manufacturing. Now, only 30% of GDP comes from agriculture. With all that investment, why can't we bring that investment in industrialization so that we get to 60% from manufacturing? Thank you very much for your question. I think we can proceed.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Chibngero Jirchir Romi. My question goes to the proposers. That is, you need us to take agri-tech or the agricultural innovation for it to create more job opportunities. Now, if we are going to practice vertical agriculture, That is what most of our brothers and sisters in urban areas are doing, and that is for home consumption. Now, can we create more, or can we come up with industries? Then we encourage those people who are practicing extensive farming come up with more products. These raw materials are taken to the industries, and when we have these industries, it is not only one person who is going to operate. More people are going to operate in the industry, and therefore it will create more job opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I love the fact that you said the people in the urban areas in Nairobi, your brother specifically, practices vertical farming. And that's on limited land. That is just for his consumption. What magic can we create in rural Kenya where we have enough space, where we have enough land? And we're talking about factories, ladies and gentlemen. What exactly is being processed in these factories? Let's talk about value addition. When we plant groundnuts and we take them to the factories for processing to get peanuts. Let's talk about macadamia, blueberries, all these substances taken to the factory for value addition, for packaging and export. I'm not getting it. Like, why are factories, or what are these factories processing? Agri-Innovation even promotes the development of these factories because we will see that there is actually something going on in the rural Kenya. Then let's take these factories for easier processing of these substances for both commercial purposes and for our own youth because we eat daily. As we live, we eat, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we will have to wrap it there and come to the voting part because time is not on our side.
As many as of the opinion that agri-innovation is the future of youth employment in Kenya, say aye. As many as not of the opinion that agri-innovation is the future of youth employment in Kenya, say nay. Please have it.
Give it up for the debate team, both for and against. They put up a good show. Well done for articulating your thoughts. As they celebrate behind me, it's a real victory.